Hello, people of the earth. I just wanted to show you my quick little list of my new favorite Ableton features. There might be more on the list, there might be less. We're going to find out. So let's go ahead and jump on over in to Ableton. Here we are over in Ableton, right? So I'm just going to play a quick little loop that I created just using Ableton stock instruments. It's a very simple little loop, so don't expect a Grammy out of this. Pretty cool, simple, right? Groovy though, I dig it. Like I said, I did use just Ableton stock instruments to create this. So first thing we're going to start off with, because it's right here and we can see it right now, the fact that we are able to see our instruments and our MIDI at the exact same time. It's I don't know how many of us have been asking for this, but we finally got it. We finally got it. So, and you can do this in both views. So if I just click on this, press tab, drop it on over here, we can now see our instruments and our MIDI clip in both views. So that is, it's amazing, right? So let's just go ahead into our preferences. Not much has really changed in here. Theme and colors is a little different. We got a couple new colors. I personally am just keeping it on the default with following my system, and I put it on this cool mode because it gives it a little bit of a bluer look, as you can see. So I dig it. You can always increase your line intensity, turn your line intensity down, whatever you want. I just keep it stock basically. Audio still the same. Link MIDI tempo, that's a little different the way they set it up down here. We now have drop down menus. I do believe this was in Live 11, but just these little check boxes are set up a little differently. It just makes it look a little nicer. And then in case anybody is ever wondering how you can change the color of your MIDI controller going in, so depending on which one of these numbers you choose depends on the color of that MIDI device, right? So you have red, green, blue, yellow, your basic standard colors. Everything else is pretty much the same. One thing that I thought's cool now is we can now use VST3 plugin folders. I do believe that was in 11 as well, but you know, just a little something new. I dig it. Let's go ahead and start on over here on the left, because that is something else that is pretty visible at the moment. We can now see that we have this little filter section, right? So if I was to come over into our audio effects, can amp simulators, modulators, performance and DJ stuff, which would be in audio effects, repitch stuff, resonators, reverbs, medium reverbs, small reverbs, special reverbs. And then we can even use that in our samples, right? We've got loops and one shots, guitars, miscellaneous, sitar. Like, you can get really finite with it, and it's great. And you can even take that a step further, and then you can start to create your own. Like, I created this multi-band compressor, but it didn't, and since we're in samples, it's not going to bring it up, right? Because sample's not a compressor. A compressor is an audio effect. So if I just click on this compressor right here, and then bam, there we go. We have compressors. These might be glue compressors, they might be multi-band compressors, they might just be the regular stock compressor, but you can go ahead and choose whatever you want. These are all the plugin developers. So if I just wanted to see specific plugin developers over here in my plugins, these are already all over here. So then you can just click the ones that you want, and then plugins will be there, right? That's pretty cool. I like that whole new feature. I'm going to press clear to clear that out. And then this is, you know, where your clips and your grooves would be, because they do have clips up here that you could use. If you wanted to just take the groove from that, you could. Some templates, some new tunings, which is pretty cool. And then you can control the overall tuning across the entire track right here. If we come over here into this little melody, then you can see that now we have the notes that are actually in the scale, right? So then I can just hit scale, and now we have just the notes in the scale. That's pretty cool. I really like that feature. I'm gonna delete this one. As you can tell, we're on round 2 of trying to create this, right? Nah, I'm just kidding. Anyways, so the follow action and the start and end is still standard since Ableton 1. I'm pretty sure. I didn't start that early with it, but now we have this function in here. If I go ahead and just duplicate this, Command D, I can start to come up with an entirely new pattern, right? So if I just take this out of stacks, let's just say rhythm, and then we'll just turn the steps down. You can generate new notes, and we'll shift it a little bit, and then we'll generate new notes. The one that I think is pretty fun, coming over here to arpeggiate, and then you can create an arpeggio. If I come back over here to feed, you can start to create all sorts of different stuff here. Very interesting, right? Very interesting. Stacks. It'll give you a chord plus whatever other notes you had. Very interesting, I believe. We'll just reset that. Then I'm gonna just add in a new rhythm here, because why not? And all those other notes are still in there, so I can kind of just take all of those and delete them. If I get all of these notes down here, Control A, we're just gonna put them up. Then we're gonna put them on the F, because I'm in the key of F for S and Gs. Shift moves them over. Here's our pitch. Now we can be in the key that we want. We'll add some more notes. Way too many notes. We'll just take it down. I liked it on step 8. Pretty cool. Come up with all sorts of new rhythms and just new melodies for your track, just at the click of an eye, or at the click of a hand, the blink of an eye, the click of a hand. So then next cool thing over here is this is where our envelope section is, and here's your drop down menu, so you could mess with, here is the plugin itself, the sound. I put this spectral blur on here, and I'm just automating the dry wet. So if you hear that, let's put the dry wet on over here, and I will extend this so you can see it. So it just goes up and then it goes back down, and we'll hear that. And you can press B so you can go into draw mode, and then you can just start to draw weird placements of the frequencies happening here. We'll just see what happens when we go like that. Then we'll click on the residual, and we can mess with the residual like that, and let's just see what happens. So that's pretty fun. That's just me showing you where the new where the new envelope features are, especially when you're in this view looking at both. But it just makes it so nice. And then MPE, if you have an MPE capable synthesizer and keyboard, or just the synthesizer itself, you can start to draw in MPE accents. I don't really know how MPE works fully. We're just going to digress on that part. We're going to stop that part. Let's see, new MIDI functions, the stacks, the tagging. Okay, so another cool thing here is if I come over here into this triangle, right? It's kind of an annoying sound, right? If I wanted to find a different sound but something similar, I can just come right down here and I can come right down here and I can start clicking on this arrow, and it's going to find similar samples, and I can just do it on the fly. And then let's just unsolo it, and then we could hear it in context. Pretty cool and simple to just be able to change your samples on the fly. Super cool. And then one other final thing with your samples and whatnot is they now have like a history as you would in like a web browser. And so I could go back and I could start to listen to sounds that I had in the past that I skipped over and I think might work now or something like that. But you can just basically go back through your history and just see what all you were looking at and see where you were. So as you can see, we're jumping through the different categories as well as different sounds, all sorts of different stuff here. Super interesting, super cool. I wouldn't say it's super interesting because we're all kind of used to this stuff on our web browser, but the fact that it is now in Ableton and we're able to do it, I think that's really cool. One couple other final little things is there's a couple new Max for Live toys. If you want me to do a Max for Live roundup, let me know. I can. I don't know why that pitch hack is on there at the moment. We're going to get rid of that. But this new color limiter is pretty cool. I don't know the name of the company, AIN, I'm not too sure. But anyways, it's pretty cool because, as it says, it's color limiter. So we can add saturation to it, and then we can adjust the way that the saturator sounds. The lower the numbers, the darker the sound, the higher the number, the brighter the sound, essentially. So if I just play it for you real quick. Kind of acts like a filter, right? So yeah, I'll turn the saturation down some there. And then with this plugin, this would be, I forget what this thing's called. I'm sorry, guys. Roar. It's another new audio effect. It's a multi-band effect. You can change the routing, mid-side, feedback, multi-band. You can run it in parallel, in serial, or just how it normally is. Multi-band is pretty cool because then you have your lows, mids, and highs. And if you click on this arrow, then you can see the lows, mids, and highs, and then you can see your modulation matrix over here, and you can see what the noise is doing and what the envelope follower is doing. It just makes it a lot more friendly, user-friendly, and convenient to just see what you're doing all at once instead of having to click on each one of these bands separately. You can just open it up and it's all right there. So I know that was way too much, but you get the gist of it. The bias obviously sets out what part in the frequency range it's going to be hitting at. And then you have your filter types, your resonance, the shape, the different types of shapes. Really, really cool, fascinating new multi-band saturator. So yeah, with that, I believe we got everything. The new MIDI functions, the new stack views, the sound similarity search, the new tagging and the history, a couple new instruments and sounds. I didn't really go over the instruments per se, but if we want to go over some of the instruments, we can. I know that there are other Ableton users out there that have gone over them, but I can kind of just show you what I like out of them as well. But yeah, with that, if you have any questions, leave a comment down below, and until the next one, peace.